Yo, what's happening everyone? I'm CD and Fury Games, and we're back in Spintires today for part 2 of the Best Night Off-Roader Challenge. And if you missed the first video, I suggest you go check that out. Now we're back in Forrester's Land Cruiser. Let's see how it handles part 2 of this awesome course. So let's do this. Let's fire this back up. Turn on our lights because that's the purpose of this challenge. And here we go. Disengage our brakes will be good. Engage our four-wheel drive and our diff lock. I think we're all set to go. Now we got a steep departure into a river coming up here. Then we got a nice little river crossing. Then we got like a bit of a hill climb at the top of that with some slippery rocks. So let's see how well this handles it. Alright, we are at the steep departure. And we caught up on the stone there. Not too bad, we made it down through. Oops, sorry about the camera angle there. Now I must say this has the brightest lights out of the three at front, so it's a little bit difficult staring at them. But if you're staring at the rear end of the vehicle, it lights up a pretty decent path in front of you. But this section is a little off-cambered. We have to be extra careful. The back end sliding there. Easy now, we just have to crawl down. Nice. And river crossing. Ooh. Must have hit that tree. Now there is some underwater trees, so you have to watch out. That we have to watch out for, which we could get hung up on. There we go. Oh, not quite. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Awesome, we made it through the first tree, just about. Are we putting that snorkel to good use? Good thing this has a high water dangerous level threshold. We're doing this type of stuff here. Here we go. Now she may sit the lowest to the ground out of the three, but she can handle it herself quite well, as you guys can tell. Oh, we're kind of hung up. There we go. Now back up. Missed the tree here. Attempt to miss the tree here. Nice. And we're hung up on something. Oh, there we go. We just adjust ourselves. Probably hit a tree. Alright, so the hill climb's coming up. Oh, come on, there we go. We have to run over that little tree. Nice. Here's the hill climb. It's actually pretty decently steep and it's muddy. But it has some rocks up here. Let's see if we can go through them. Nice. Just have to find the proper line. The rocks are a little slick. Alright, let's wiggle back and forth to find our traction. Come on, you can do it. Come on. What are we dealing with here? It's kind of hard to tell. Right, let's try rocking back and forth. I think my diff lock was on. Alright, I re-engage it. Now I turned it off just to see if it was on or not. We're just hitting those rocks right there. We're gonna use our sidewall on that rock. No, not really. There we go. Did we get over far enough there? There we go. We have to crawl up the side a little bit. Awesome, we've made it up. Wow. Very impressive for what it is. Those rocks were a little slick there. Sweet. Alright, now it's time to swap back over to the Nissan Pathfinder. Alright, we are back in the Pathfinder. We're going to see how this handles this part of our little course. So far, so good. It handled the first section quite well. It only got hung up on rock there, but I think if I chose the proper line off the beginning, this would have made that no problem. Alright, so here we're at the descent into the river. There, engage more four-wheel drive. Nice, over that rock, no problem. Now I must say this has the nicest lights to stare at going this way if you're facing at the vehicle, because they're not too bright, which is good if you're doing shots like this. And the tail lights light up the trail behind you pretty decently as well. They're both pretty well balanced. Here we go. There, handle that no problem. Now this vehicle doesn't have the snorkel, so its high level threshold is about the same as a real Pathfinder. Alright, here we go. Alright, hung up on that tree. Let's see if we can back up out of this. I guess it would help if my dip lock was on. Let's attempt this again. Nice! Went over that, no problem. There must be a rock right there, a couple trees. But once we turn on dip lock, it wasn't an issue. Another tree here, moving down. So far we haven't took much water damage, which is pretty decent. We got those fair-sized tires. It must be 23s, I think. And we cam around to get around this tree. Nice. We'll handle that section pretty good. Now it's time for the hill climb. And hopefully we don't get caught on those rocks at the top, but we'll see. Alright, now if we find, there we go, we're right at the rocks, power through. Oh, we're slipping a little bit. Alright, we'll back up and readjust ourselves. That should be our line right here. Nice. Oh, come on, we're right there. Awesome. We struggled a little bit. We made it up. No problem. Those rocks are pretty slick, I must say. Awesome. Now it's time to swap back to the Toyota 4Runner. Now, out of all the vehicles of this head-to-head challenge, this one doesn't have working taillights, but as you can tell, it has light attachments that light up the trail all the way around you, and that's why I chose this vehicle for this challenge as well. And I must say, it provides the best light. It's not too bright, and it's decent almost all the way around you, which is pretty awesome. Alright, so let's see how we handle the descent coming up. Now, the steering on this is a little bit too fast, I must say. Maybe they swapped over to electronic power steering. Now, this has the tallest tires out of the three, but there are the narrowest as well. Here's my dip lock. Turn on my four-wheel drive. There we go. Nice. Ooh, easy now. Almost put her on her side. But I handled that no problem, I must say. Awesome. Yeah, steering's just a tad sensitive. But I handled that no problem. Oh, the rear end came around. Alright, let's see how it handles this river crossing. Over the first tree, not too bad. We hit the high water level threshold mark. But it's just handling this like no problem. Now I think the high water threshold level or dangerous water level mark should be raised on this just a little bit, because after all it does have a snorkel, and if modder puts on a snorkel on their vehicle, it is what we should expect them to raise it, but sometimes that isn't the case. The snorkels are just like a afterthought. So let's see how this handles this hill and the rocks up at top. Easy now. Wow, just powered right up that, no problem. Awesome. Oops, sorry about that. Hope we didn't break the deer. That's a little Heineken's case in the back. We have reached the end of the Best Night Off-Roader Challenge, and I must say, hands down, the winner of this challenge goes to the Toyota 4Runner by RiskyWhiskey. Now, my only problems with this mod is that the steering is just a tad too fast, and the high water level mark needs to be adjusted accordingly to the snorkel. But other than that, this Toyota 4Runner handled that course perfectly. Now in very close second place is Phease's Nissan Pathfinder. I'm not quite sure if I pronounced the modders properly, but it's a weird name. And third was Forester Land Cruiser. It made it through everything that the bigger vehicles did, and we only had to winch once backwards. Now I don't think the Land Cruiser was a fair comparison compared to the other two off-road vehicles, but there isn't too many mods that have working taillights or light attachments in some tires that help light up the trail behind you, which is kind of unfortunate because all of them could have working taillights, especially while night off-roading, because night off-roading is fun, and it's one of the things that's overlooked just because the vehicles don't have working taillights. But if you want to experience some night wheeling, these are the vehicles to do it in. They all perform pretty good for what they are. Now I believe all Forester mods have working taillights, but these were the only other two that I could find with working taillights or a light attachment. So in the comments down below, please let me know personally, what do you think, which mod won this challenge and why? And if you think I judged this unfairly, please let me know in the comments down below. Well, that is it for now, everyone. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more challenge series like this, please let me know. But until next time, folks, I shall see you on the trails.